Social School of Business, Hyderabad, on leadership and emotional intelligence to reinforce our understanding of the same. Her qualification includes BA Honours, MBA and PhD. Veena ma'am is a prolific writer and has to her credit 2 books on self-development, Accelerate Your Pace, A Panorama of Human Engineering, and Accelerate Your Pace, Progressive Dimension of Human Engineering Plus, Factoring and Forfeiting Services in India. With this, a very small brief, I'd like to request Veena ma'am to give her words of wisdom on the podium.
Gentlemen and ladies, I would really, I'm feeling happy today, and I wish to thank Dr. Amit for having given me the opportunity to interact with all of you this morning. And 15 minutes, as Paru ma'am said, is what I have. And what I'm going to share with you is what Dr. Amit Jain has already, your BC, he has already talked about, but I have just picked up the clue from there. Alvin Toffler, the author and the management guru, who has also written Power Shift. He says, the illiterate of the 21st century are not those who cannot read or write. The illiterate of the 21st century are those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. The vision of Amity, and we say that Amity has a vision of, moving towards the knowledge economy and empowering you all through the knowledge economy and preparing you for the knowledge economy. So knowledge comes from learning. And all of you have taken admission in Amity University, one of the best universities in the world, to acquire more knowledge. But then why do I say learn and unlearn before relearn? Anyone who can tell me why you need to unlearn? Okay, students, no? See, many of the times, whatever knowledge we have gained in the past, that becomes obsolete. With time, we are changing. Sir here, who is, from Peering, he has been talking about So we have been talking about the new information, data, knowledge which is getting created. Even if you go back to your geography lessons way back in school, I remember when I was in school in 1970s, we learned that there are 9 planets. How many are you learning about now? 8. Why? So you unlearned. Even I had to unlearn the old knowledge that, okay, there were 9 planets, now there are just 8, and we are also talking about dwarf planets. So when we talk about lifelong learning to create knowledge, we are talking about this aspect of learning throughout your life, not just during the student years, because you need to have personal and professional excellence. And therefore, we talked about, what Alvin Toffler said, learn, unlearn, and relearn. Now there's a word that I mentioned on the slide, ligometry, top right corner. Anyone who can tell me what is ligometry? Okay, maybe you can Google it a little later, but for the timing, let me tell you, ligometry means to know what you don't know, which means as students, you need to have self-awareness that, okay, I'm good at these aspects, but there are some other things that I don't know, and therefore I need to learn about those aspects. For example, when I was doing my MBA, so at that time I was very good with marketing, HR, but finance was my weak point. And because I knew what I don't know, I focused more on learning the aspects of finance. Similarly, in today's times, you need to know what are the things that you need to concentrate on. In this slide, which you see right in front of you, there is something that I mentioned in red, which is your comfort zone, where you are at the moment. Now, what happens with most of us, that we do not learn something new because we feel, I know a lot. For people like us who have had, a few decades of experience, we feel, oh, बहुत आता है, अभी और क्या scope है सीखने के लिए? I know everything. But for students like you also, sometimes you make the mistake I am a topper, I have had distinction, so why do I need to learn more? That's because we try to remain in our comfort zone, and if we need to come out from the comfort zone, we'll have to make an effort. So how to move from this comfort zone into the growth zone? Because if you remain in your comfort zone, हिंदी में कहते हैं ना कि ठहरा हुआ पानी सड़ जाता है. I hope you don't want to end up like that. So you have to have that fear that unless I keep on learning new things, I am not going to grow. And finally, when you start learning in different ways, become an early adopter, deepen your understanding. You know, in the classroom, your faculty, your learned faculty is going to discuss so many different topics with you, but do not be satisfied with surface knowledge. I'm sure they would make that effort, but again, they can get the horse to the water, but they cannot ensure that the horse is going to drink the water. Am I right? All the faculty members, right? So the thing is, they will make the effort, but you need to delve deeper. For example, we have all been talking about Chandrayaan and India being proud of this mission. But the question arises, why did we choose the moon? You have to ask, who were the real people responsible for it? What were the challenges they faced? When did they start planning for it? So when you ask such type of Socratic questions, you would delve deeper and your learning would be really substantial. So that is what you need to develop while you are studying. And even after you finish with your qualification, you need to continue asking these type of Socratic questions. Now this is one slide that I spent quite a lot of time when Amit sir talked about, you know, the 101 attributes of which you need to develop in times to come. I was relating some of the orientation acronym with what I had prepared for today. Now, I'm sure some of the cues which are testing out, which are measuring out your excellence levels, you might be knowing about. For example, what is IQ? Louder. Intelligence quotient, of course. What is HQ? Health quotient. We've all heard since childhood, a healthy mind in a healthy body. But while you are in the university here at Amity, you have so many opportunities. Play the sports, go out for a run, use the gymnasium, but you must keep yourself regularly working on so that you are physically fit and your health quotient is good. Then only your brain is going to get the adequate oxygen to keep on absorbing and working properly. So health quotient is also important besides IQ. There's another thing that I've mentioned over here, EQ. What is EQ? Very good. Emotional quotient. In today's times, you need to understand your own emotions and the emotions of others so that you are able to have healthy, lifelong relationships. Whether in your personal life or professionally at your workplace also, when you finish your studies and you go out in the corporate world to work. So you need to develop your EQ. There's another thing that I mentioned over here, CQ. What's that? Curiosity quotient. So, you know, when sir was standing on the podium and asking you questions that who is Dr. Ritu, so you should have the curiosity. Then maybe after today's orientation, go on Google, search out about her, see, you know, how she has worked so hard, since how long. So that curiosity will keep you going and it will drive you towards excellence, because in today's times you definitely need to be an expert in your technical area, but you also need to develop a lot of other knowledge, related knowledge, because the whole ecosystem you need to understand, and then only you can grow wholly. Then we talk about TQ. What is that? Talent quotient. Every one of you has some or the other talent, which is kind of your USP that sir talked about. Now, how do you use that talent to progress in your career? That alignment you need to understand. So if your talent is analyzing or, you know, solving puzzles, use it for case study analysis. If your talent is choreography, then see how you can use it, you know, for your professional advancement as well. Next one is SQ, which is not superior, Yeah, it helps you become superior if you've developed it, but it's the spiritual portion which I'm leaving to Sister Anamika. She is the best person to, enlighten you on SQ. Next is AQ, adversity quotient. What again your Vice Chancellor has already spoken about, that using adversities as opportunity. जो tough times हैं उनको हम कैसे opportunity में तब्दील कर लेते हैं. So the adversity quotient is your ability to advance despite challenges, because nobody's life is a bed of roses, and therefore you will have ups and downs in your life, as in the student life also, in your personal life also, in your professional life also. But how you manage the downs in your favor, that shows your adversity quotient. And then finally we have the XQ, the execution quotient. At the end of the day we have to give results. I run a training company, and the corporates, when I go and I give the presentation or I do the training needs analysis, they're fine with the process and modus operandi. But they ask me, at the end of the day, how is it going to benefit our managers and the overall bottom line, or the profitability or the revenue generation? So we have to give results. And whatever you may do, however you develop yourself, whatever you keep on learning, it should be focused towards result orientedness. And there's one Q left yet. Which one is it? PQ. PQ stands for professional quotient, which means that you have to think and behave like professionals also. So I'm sure you would be having a lot of grooming sessions, how to dress up, how to speak, how to shake hands, how to address, how to introduce yourself, how to be punctual, how to follow the SOPs in the organizations. All that would ensure that you turn out to be a wonderful professional. So this was just a thought starter that I wished to share with you, and I would not take more than my 15 minutes, as Parulvan told me. If there are any questions, I'm ready to answer them. Otherwise, that's it from my side. Thank you so much.
We'll try to have a small question.